I usually don't ask people, but if you can share this video, please, because it actually shows the horrors that are happening at American universities. And I'm not even joking when I say the horrors. Now, this came out a couple of years ago, and most of the mainstream media just made one article about it and moved on. Most people didn't read it. And even the ones that did only got a very weird view of what happened. It was described as if a bakery was accused of being racist, and then the university decided to stop doing business with that bakery, so now the bakery is suing. Now, when you read something like that, you're thinking, well, obviously the university is in the right. I mean, it doesn't have to do business with any bakery, so where is the controversy? But then you realize that the bakery has won the lawsuit, and this, to me, made me want to investigate, like, how on earth can they win such a lawsuit? Like, it makes no sense. And then when you actually read through the court papers, you realize, oh, wow, like, so much information was omitted by the mainstream media, the authoritative sources. Now, what actually happened was that 3 students from the college went to a bakery. And one of them was caught having a fake ID, trying to purchase alcohol, and he was also trying to shoplift a bottle of wine. Okay, so one of the prestigious university students committed a crime. In my country, the normal action would be for the university to suspend the student. We have students at high standards held here. But apparently this is called white supremacy in progressive La La Land. And the people at fault were the bakery owners. Because even though the student actually has done this, even though the police came and they arrested him, the only way that the owners would have known is if they racially profiled the student. And because of that, now you have students doing activism in front of the bakery. Now, when you say that they were doing activism, what they were really doing is acts of vandalism. Because when you read the court files, it describes how one of the owners, which was an elderly man, experienced a brick flying through the window. Now, I guess that is not a pleasant event to witness. Doesn't make you feel very safe. Doesn't create a safe space, does it? And then part of the lawsuit was the libel and slander that was being issued. Calling the establishment racist, saying that one of their students got assaulted, none of which was true. And you would think that if you go to a university, the bare minimum to call yourself an intellectual would be to at least know the Constitution, at least know what is free speech and what isn't. But again, universities are progressive now, and progressive ideology, actual violence is free speech, and free speech is violence. I mean, I'm not even kidding. If you guys remember, there was a book on Amazon, a really good seller, in defense of looting. Yes, I guess like looting is now the voice of the unheard in the minds of the people who go at universities. It is just like mind-baffling, right? And what's more interesting is the blatant hypocrisy. Like, again, the university is allowed to encourage students to commit acts of vandalism, but in their eyes, the establishment, who is being the victim of said acts of vandalism, isn't allowed to sue the university because that goes against free speech. I guess that goes against American culture. And this opened a window into the absolute state of American higher education, where if you're a parent and you save thousands of dollars throughout your life so that you can put your kid up for an education, you expect that he will go to a university and learn a job. You will expect that he's going to be given a rigorous training into how to select good ideas from the bad. No, that's not what he's going to get. What he is going to get is an indoctrination that turns him into a criminal. And we saw this at the Kavanaugh hearings. At the Kavanaugh hearings, there were students getting arrested. So imagine what mommy and daddy would have thought. So you go to a university not to learn a trade, but to now believe that it is okay to destroy someone's private property as long as you're doing it for social justice and as long as other people are doing it with you. So no wonder that this case wasn't represented in the mainstream media, because it might have drove down the recruitment for certain universities. I mean, again, imagine sending your kid to this university and paying money for it. Like, that's the real joke, because it's not even for free. You have to pay thousands of dollars, and not only that, but like the student gets crippling debt if his parents didn't pay for it and he made a bank loan that's going to follow all his life. Like, they're not learning useful skills. They're learning how to be hooligans. Like, football hooligans do this level of damage. And they don't even understand why they're doing is wrong, because the university professors are also gaslighting. It's like, oh, well, it's against free speech. Blah, 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 blah. I'm willing to bet that if it was the other way around, like if the bakery would have had some thugs do this to the university, oh, all of a sudden it's like, oh, the danger to our democracy. Oh my God, the assault on the academia, those evil right wing. But when the university does it, it's free speech. Now, you might think that, well, hold on a little bit. Like, why would you say that the university did any of this? Well, it's due to the fact that during the court hearings, they actually got access to some of the email that the professors were sending to one another. And not only were the professors encouraging the students to participate in this social justice activity because it was like a teaching lesson for them, I guess so they can use it later on the Kavanaugh hearings, right? But there was a retired professor which was critical to the way the college was handling the Gibson matter. I think he was an economist professor, if I remember correctly. And the court recounted that Mrs. Raimondo then sent a text message to another administrator saying, fuck him, I'd say unleash the students if I wasn't convinced this need to be put behind us. They viewed the university professors, viewed the students, which are human beings, by the way, but the university professors views them as attack dogs. We will unleash the student. This is how they think behind closed doors. In fact, this is how they think in their scientific papers. There's a paper that I keep talking about it because it's very relevant. It's called Gender Studies as a Virus, where they're actually saying that students should be like viruses. They go in the cells of established structures, and what they do is they destabilize those cells. These university professors, they have a political agenda, and they use the students as a way to achieve that agenda. They manipulate the student. They use them as tools, the same way you would use a hammer, and when you don't need the hammer, you throw it away. They do not view the students as human beings that are there to learn a trade, that are there to learn to think for themselves and be educated. No, they try to radicalize them to get them to the position where they can, quote-unquote, be unleashed. Why am I the only one upset about this? I'm not even in America. Like, I'm a Romanian, and I'm reading this, and I don't understand. Like, okay, fine. Like, maybe the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it, but why isn't this news on every single social media page? Like, why aren't people sharing this article like crazy? Because it's not just right-wingers that are upset, it's left-wingers as well. I mean, dude, like, knowing that the professor talks about you like you're some sort of, I don't know, like, thing that gets to be unleashed upon the world, I would be offended, even if I was a progressive. Like, if a right-winger would say this, we are going to unleash the Christians, I would be like, what the fuck? You know, like, what are you talking about, dude? Who are you? How dare you? How dare you speak to me like that? But, like, no, apparently it's fine. Apparently no one is going to read this except a handful of people, and it's going to be buried yet again. And I have a feeling that what happened at Oberlin College isn't an exception, but it is the rule. Because you kept hearing these things coming out from other colleges. The only reason you hear about it is because there was a lawsuit involved. So Gibson actually filed suit because Gibson was a prestigious bakery that was there for over 100 years. It was tied to the community. It managed to raise the money for a lawsuit, and they won. So that is why you actually get to hear about it. And fun fact, do you know when the students stopped doing the damage and all that? When they got sued. When they got sued, all of a sudden they stopped doing it. Do you know why? Because the professors didn't want to lose their reputation. It just shows the absolute control that the professors have over the students. They unleash them, they rail them back. Again, if you guys would like to share this video, I would very much appreciate it. I definitely think like this video transcends political tribalism. Regardless if you're a right-winger or a left-winger, you probably don't like the fact that you go to a university and you're crippled by student debt, so a university professor can then unleash you upon its political enemies or whatever. It's disgusting. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.